My beloved child, do you realize that some attacks make no sound? They do not shake the earth or announce themselves with thunder. Instead, they wear down the soul little by little, almost unnoticed. I see you still smiling. I see you still moving forward. But your spiritual breath has grown faint, and you may not even realize how tired your soul has become. As you stand at the threshold of the new season I have prepared for you, I want you to stay awake. The most dangerous blows often come from the places you believe are safest. Long before David stood before Goliath, the real battle had already begun. It did not start on a battlefield. It began in the quietness of open fields, where a young shepherd watched over his flock. There were no roaring crowds, no shining armor, no praise from men, only the low growls of lions and bears stalking in the shadows. That was where David's faith was tested. That was where his courage was refined. Goliath was not his first enemy, nor was he the most frightening. The greater danger was complacency, the quiet temptation to believe his own strength would be enough. In the same way, what is tightening around your spirit today is not meant to terrify you, it is meant to awaken you. The most dangerous battle often begins long before you ever see a giant. From the outside, your life may seem fine, perhaps even peaceful, but I see the small cracks forming in your spirit. Anxiety with no clear source, weariness without a specific reason, a strange unsteadiness that visits you in the night. You may think it is only a passing feeling, but in truth, it is a warning. An unseen battle is quietly pressing in from within, in the places no one else can see. I do not tell you this to make you afraid. I tell you because when you draw near to the promise I have placed over your life, the enemy seeks to dim your light before it fully rises. Not every blow comes like a storm. Many enter through the smallest habits, a little distraction, a piece of content you watch just for fun, a few careless words that leave your mind drained. At first they seem harmless, but like drops of water falling on stone, over time they carve deep places in the soul. And if you are not watchful, you begin to pray less because you are busy. You seek me less because you are tired. Then, without noticing, your spiritual armor grows thinner while you still believe you are strong. My child, the greatest danger is not always a wide open door for the enemy. Sometimes it is a small crack you no longer care enough to notice. Then one day you still smile at people. You still fulfill your duties. You still serve as usual. But inside there is a strange emptiness. Not because you are weak, but because you have been quietly running dry without realizing what your soul has been missing. The sleepless nights, the hidden tears, the loneliness you feel even in a crowd, these are spiritual signals I want you to recognize. If you continue living on crumbs of faith, you may collapse right before I open the new season before you. I will not let you reach the edge without warning you. I call you back so you will lean on me before weariness convinces you to let go. My child, there are days when I see your soul trembling like a candle in the wind. Nothing around you may seem intense. Yet you keep going, keep working, keep saying you are fine, but I know the hollow space forming between your ordinary breaths. The battle you think is outside is actually clinging deep within, in the places you pay the least attention to. The small signs, the unexplained fatigue, the uneasiness that comes and goes like a shadow, the loss of rhythm in your spirit, are the bells I am ringing to help you realize you are under spiritual attack. Watch and pray, so you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I do not say this to make you anxious, but to remind you that I am right there, seeing everything. Do not dismiss what seems harmless inside your heart. Do you remember Elisha and his servant on that morning? The servant opened the door and saw the enemy surrounding the city. His heart trembled because his eyes could see only danger. But Elisha saw differently. He looked beyond what was visible and understood that the true battle was not merely the army outside, it was the panic squeezing the servant's faith. When Elisha prayed, I opened the servant's eyes. Suddenly, he saw countless heavenly warriors standing on the mountains, stronger than any earthly threat. Do you see? Danger has never been only external. The most frightening thing is not the enemy surrounding you. It is when your spirit sees only hostility and forgets that I am still covering you. The enemy always begins by convincing you that you are alone. From there, the battle tightens within you. Beloved, I see the moments when you ask yourself, why am I so tired when nothing big has happened? Yet it is often when everything appears calm that your spirit is most easily lulled to sleep. When you rely only on familiar routines, you forget that the soul must be kept awake every day. The enemy does not wait until you are visibly broken before striking. He plants small arrows, misdirected thoughts, nameless feelings, quiet discouragements you assume will pass. That is how the siege tightens. Not loudly, not violently, but slowly, until you barely notice your faith receding like water pulling away from the shore. I see you trying to look strong, but I also see the silent places within you, the places you have never dared to face. That is where the real battle is quietly taking place. My child, I do not wait until you collapse before I come to rescue you. I am already here, calling you back before a small weariness becomes a deep chasm. Do not believe you must be strong in order to please me. Bring me even your fragile pieces. Bring me the tangled thoughts you are afraid to admit. When you return to me, even the battle within you begins to shift, because I do not leave any soul to fight alone. Long before David stood before Goliath, he learned to take refuge in me during quiet afternoons no one else ever saw, and that hidden refuge became his true strength. Let me fight for you. The battle inside is not something you were meant to win by yourself. I only need you to return, and I will take care of the rest. And do you know this? Though I always protect you, there are still small openings in everyday life that can leave you more vulnerable than you realize. It is not that the enemy is strong enough to break through my wall of protection. It is the tiny cracks you unknowingly leave unguarded. When your mind is pulled in 100 meaningless directions, when you allow foreign sounds to enter the space that should belong to me, your spiritual armor begins to grow thinner day by day. I do not blame you. I only want you to understand that doors left slightly open can become entryways for the very things that drain you. When you understand this, you will see why I call you to remain watchful in every moment. Even the smallest step back toward me is enough to bring your soul into the safe light I have prepared for you. My child, there are things that seem harmless, yet they are quietly wearing down your spiritual strength without you noticing. I see your mind swept daily into countless sounds, images, and stories. Many of them may not be evil, but they are not nourishing your soul. When your mind is filled with voices that do not come from me, you slowly begin to struggle to recognize my gentle call. This is not a rebuke. It is a reminder, so you can understand why some evenings you feel tired without knowing why. Those little things can become the first openings that make you easier to wound than ever before. You do not have to fall completely in order to be wounded. Sometimes, a single speck of dust in the eye is enough to blur your vision. Remember young Samuel in the temple. That night, my voice called to him again and again. But Samuel thought it was Eli, because he had not yet learned to recognize my voice. The familiar sounds around him confused him, yet I did not fault him. I called patiently until he stopped, listened, and said, "Speak, for your servant is listening. Do you see?" My voice never goes silent. But when your mind becomes too full, it becomes harder for you to discern what is my voice and what is merely distraction. The trivial things may not make a loud noise, yet they take up space that was meant for me. And when your ear becomes trained to the noise of the world, it becomes easier to miss the warnings I am trying to give you. I know there are moments when you allow yourself to drift into scattered thoughts, telling yourself, "A little thinking won't hurt." But my child, the enemy does not need a wide open door. It only needs a small crack. Slowly, it will tilt your heart a few degrees off course. A little insecurity, a little comparison, a little resentment. Together they gather like tiny, persistent drops of water until they become a current that carries you away from the source of life. I do not want to see you lost in those undercurrents. You were created to walk in steadfastness, not in quiet exhaustion. I want you to understand this. What you feed your mind today will become either strength or burden tomorrow. And if you are not watchful, even the smallest things can become the cord that pulls you away from the peace I have prepared for you, beloved. Do not wait until your soul is weary before you return to me. Pause for a moment in the middle of the familiar noise. Open again the door of prayer you have not stepped through in a long time, and I will meet you there. I am not looking for long, elaborate prayers. I only desire your open heart, even if all you can give me is a single breath. When you lay down empty entertainment, unhelpful stories, and thoughts that weigh heavily on your mind, you will begin to see light return to the places you thought were ruined. I desire nothing more than to enter your mind before anything else does. so I can shield you from attacks your natural eyes cannot see. You belong to me, and I will not allow anything to steal your soul while you remain unaware. A time will come when you understand that spiritual neglect does not crash into your life all at once. It slips in quietly through choices you once thought were small. One day, you skip prayer. Another day, you hesitate to open the Bible. One evening, you let your worries drown out a conversation with me. None of it comes like a storm. It seeps in like a cold mist sinking into the ground. But when I look at you, I do not want you to accuse yourself. Noticing the danger is the first step toward becoming watchful again. All you need to do is gather your mind, gently close the doors you unknowingly opened, and let me guide you back to safety. You were not created to live in fragility. You were formed to stand firm in the light, no matter how chaotic the world around you becomes. And when you understand this, you will enter a deeper part of the battle, the place where you learn to guard your soul against the quiet things that drain you. My child, there are kinds of emptiness that make no noise, yet spread like a thin fog until your soul slowly grows cold, and you cannot even tell when it began. I see you still smiling at people, still working hard, still serving responsibly. Yet the light within you has dimmed, not because you no longer love me, but because you have been living on scattered fragments of faith. You read a few verses just to get through the day. You pray hurriedly before sleep, then tell yourself, that is enough. But beloved, a soul cannot thrive on crumbs. It needs breath from me. It needs fullness. It needs living water flowing continually. Without that, exhaustion will come quietly. The most dangerous thing is not always the storm. Sometimes it is the slow depletion that happens little by little. There are nights when you lie still in the dark, eyes open, unable to sleep, your heart heavy without knowing why. I see it all, the tears you try to swallow, the sighs you do not dare confess to anyone, the way your soul searches for somewhere to lean. But your soul does not yet realize that I am near, waiting only for you to turn back. Remember Elijah in the days after he fled and collapsed in weariness. He sat beneath the broom tree and wanted to let everything go. But I did not come to him in a great wind, an earthquake, or a blazing fire. I came in a gentle whisper, so he would know I had not abandoned him, even when his strength was gone. It is the same with you. I do not wait for you to become strong before I draw near. I come closest when you are weakest, to remind you that the weariness inside you is not the end. It is an invitation to return to true peace. I understand the moments when you blame yourself for no longer having the same passion you once had. You worship, but your emotions no longer overflow. You pray, yet your heart still feels dry. You think you have failed, but in truth, this is what happens when the soul stays away from the source of life for too long. A branch separated from the tree does not wither immediately. It may stay green for a few days before it begins to dry. In the same way, you can continue spiritual routines for a while. But when the flow from me no longer nourishes you, your soul will slowly become exhausted. I do not condemn you. I simply want you to realize that your life does not come from striving, but from connection. And the moment you return, that lifeline will surge again, restoring even the places you thought had already died. There are people who stand in the middle of a crowd and still feel completely alone. You have been there too, not because you are unloved, but because your spirit is running dry, and you do not know how to name it. The feeling that no one understands you, the thought that you are invisible in all of this, is not merely emotion. It is a sign that your soul needs to be touched. I want you to know this loneliness is not meant to torment you. It is meant to draw you closer to me. Only in my presence will you stop fearing the emptiness within. Remember David before he became a mighty king. He had nights filled with tears in caves, surrounded by isolation and pursuit. Yet in the place that seemed darkest, he wrote words full of hope because he knew I would not leave him in the night. So it is with you. The darkness will not break you if you allow me to remain with you in it. There will come a moment when you realize that this quiet exhaustion is the very thing that causes many people to let go right before I move most powerfully in their lives, not because they are weak, but because they do not recognize they are running on empty. I do not want you to step into a new season with a weak flame, tired feet, and a confused heart. I want you restored before you enter what I have prepared for you. And when you begin to feel the tenderness of your soul again, when you understand that emptiness is not punishment, but a gentle warning, you will find the next step unfolding naturally before you. That step is surrender. It is letting go of what has been wearing you down so you can lean on me and recover real strength. There you will see a door opening softly into wholeness, unhurried, peaceful, like the next chapter your soul has been waiting for all along. My child, many times you brace yourself just to appear as though you are fine. But I see the trembling hidden beneath your calm. You think trusting me means you must always be strong, always stand tall, and never let anyone see your weakness. But beloved, faith is not a mask to hide the cracks. Faith is the arm you lift when you no longer have the strength to stand on your own. I have never demanded that you become strong first and only then come to me. Even the greatest warriors in Scripture have fallen, and often it was precisely when they admitted their helplessness that I lifted them higher than ever before. I do not want you to keep straining. I want you to release, so I can hold you. Do you remember when Israel fought Amalek? Moses stood on the hill, and as long as his hands were raised, the people prevailed. But when his hands grew tired and lowered, they began to weaken. Yet do you see the truth hidden there? Victory did not come from Moses' strength alone. It came when he was willing to let others support his hands in weariness. I placed Aaron and Hur beside him, not because Moses was inferior, but because I wanted him to know this battle was never meant to be carried by one person alone. And so it is with you. I did not create you to fight by yourself. When you resist in your own strength, you will grow tired. But when you surrender to me, you will be upheld by a strength that never runs dry. I see the days when you read my word, but your mind is somewhere else. I see the moments when you pray, yet your words drift away while your heart sits heavy. You think you have failed, but my child, that is not failure. It is a reminder that prayer, worship, and the Word of God are not tasks. They are where your soul survives. They are the source of fresh breath. When small things drain your faith, you will feel dry. But when you turn back to what seems familiar, you will discover that these sacred places are more alive than you expected. They are not rituals, they are weapons. They are not habits, they are refuge. They are not merely a schedule. They are the way I cast my shadow over your soul and shield you from invisible blows. There are things you must decisively step away from, not because I want to take something from you, but because they are leaking your spiritual strength. Conversations that leave your heart heavy. Relationships not led by me, habits that erode your peace. These are like tiny holes at the bottom of a vessel, letting living water drain out continually while you wonder why you remain exhausted. I love you too much to watch you cling to what is making you weaker. If you lay it down, I will fill that empty space with something better, something healthier, something that belongs to me. I will never ask you to surrender without restoration. What I have for you is always greater than what I invite you to leave behind. Do you know what moves my heart most deeply? When you choose to surrender to me, even with a trembling breath. In that moment, I answer with an entire sky of protection. I have sent angels to guard you. I have raised a wall of fire around your life. I have shut doors the enemy tried to slip through. But there is one door I will never force open, the door of your heart. When you open that door and say, I am weak, Lord, fight for me, that is the moment my power is displayed most clearly. You do not need to shout. A quiet call is enough. I am already there. And when you let me fight for you, you will see that the battles that once terrified you are small in my hands. One day, when you stand steadier, gentler, and restored from within, you will realize that surrender did not make you weaker. It made you strong in a way the world cannot understand. You will begin to see more clearly the subtle movements of spiritual warfare, the gaps that need to be covered, the souls enduring what you once endured. And in this new watchfulness, you will naturally step into the role I prepared for you long ago, not only as one who is protected, but as one who brings support to the weary. No grand declarations are needed. No lengthy explanations are required. The quiet transformation within you will become an invitation for exhausted souls to return to the safety you found in me. My child, when your soul is restored and stands firm again, I see in you not only new life, but a light strong enough to guide those around you who are lost. You may think your former weakness was nothing more than a private wound, yet I use the very places where you once fell to strengthen those who are slipping. This battle has never been only about you. Every step you take, every word you speak, every breath upheld by me can become a covering for someone else. I healed you so you could become cool water in the desert, quiet, gentle, and strong enough to revive the thirsty. And when you see someone weary in the same way you once were, you will understand how I lifted you up. you will know how to lead them back to me gently, patiently, and with quiet certainty. Do you remember Joseph's story, my child? He was sold by his own brothers, falsely accused, thrown into prison, and surrounded by pain so heavy it seemed impossible to rise from it. Yet those very wounds became the foundation on which I placed him in a position to save an entire people. When his brothers came to him in the middle of famine, Joseph did not answer them with revenge. He looked at them and recognized that I had used his wounded years to preserve life for others. Do you see? Suffering did not crush him. It formed him into an instrument of deliverance. And so it will be with you. The places where you once wept, I will turn into places where you speak strength to thirsty souls, not with lofty philosophy, but with wounds I have healed. I want you to understand that your words carry more spiritual weight than you realize. When you complain, weariness spreads like gray smoke. But when you speak faith, even one simple sentence can shift the atmosphere around you. You may not have realized it before, but every word you speak plants a seed. It either lifts people up or makes their hearts heavier. Now that I have been reshaping you from within, I want you to become someone who sows hope into others, an intercessory prayer, a word of encouragement, a gentle hand placed on someone's shoulder. Sometimes these simple acts are enough to push back an entire stronghold of despair inside a person's soul. Your transformation is not only seen with the eyes, it is felt in the peace that flows from the words you speak. My beloved, I have placed weary souls around you, not so you must carry them in your own strength, but so you can become a trumpet that awakens and a bridge that leads them back to me, not in some grand or dramatic way, but through daily faithfulness. When you pray for your loved ones, your family, and those you cherish, you are not merely speaking to me. You are raising a spiritual wall around them. When you warn gently, when you share about me, when you stand beside someone in their weakness, you are activating a spiritual work far stronger than you imagine. You are sowing deliverance, and you yourself are being guarded through it. I do not want you only to survive. I want you to become a vessel that carries life. And as you keep walking, you will begin to realize that everything I have been doing in your life, the silent battles, the restoration, the steps that led you back, does not end with your safety alone. It leads you into a deeper position, the position of one who is called, one who carries light, one who knows how to stand in the fight not only for yourself, but for those I have entrusted to you. No loud trumpet is needed, no reputation is required. Only a heart that remains soft before me and open toward others. When you live this way, you become part of my stream of salvation, quiet, yet full of power. And each day you open your mouth to intercede, each time you stretch out your hands to lift another, I will stand behind you. I will complete what you cannot, so that everything blooms according to my will. My child, let me speak to you more deeply and more clearly, like a father taking hold of your shoulders and looking straight into your soul. You are not ordinary in this vast world. You are the portion of inheritance I have chosen. You are the place where I have set my name, the instrument I guard with holy jealousy. There is no movement in your life that escapes my gaze. You are where I dwell, a living temple into which I have breathed my spirit. So each time pressure surrounds you, each time a harsh word is aimed at you, each time a tangled crossroads confuses you, understand this: none of it is accidental. These are arrows the enemy shoots deliberately to unsettle you, to make your soul chase what is visible, instead of lifting your eyes to where I am waiting. He does not want you to look up because he knows that the moment you look to me, the moment you call my name, everything he has built begins to collapse like ash beneath your feet. But today, I am drawing your eyes away from the storms in front of you. I am lifting your gaze higher, deeper, and truer to the place where your help has never arrived late. I am the one who stood in the furnace with the 3 young men. I am the one who shut the mouths of the lions before Daniel. I am the one who made the walls of Jericho tremble beneath the footsteps of faith. I am the one who broke Paul's chains in the darkness of prison. I am the one before whom every battle surrenders before it even has the chance to take shape. Yet for you to step into the flow of that strength, you must return to me. Rearrange your heart, realign your spirit. Do not let it drift from the truth I have already placed within you. You have walked through many seasons and lived through many experiences. I know there were moments when you opened your heart to things that were not from me. You looked at what did not strengthen your soul. You listened to voices mixed with the noise of the world and mistook them for wisdom. You held on to small but persistent thoughts, quiet yet toxic emotions, and doubts that seemed harmless at first. But slowly, Layer by layer, they began to eat away at your spiritual armor. You thought you were only watching a little, listening for fun, thinking about it just for a moment. But the enemy knows how to sow. He does not need a storm. He only needs a seed, a little doubt to make you hesitate, a little bitterness to pull you away from peace, a little distraction to make you neglect prayer, a small sin you believe you can control. Then, little by little, those things weave into a cord around your soul, drawing you away from the source of life before you even realize how far you have wandered. He rarely charges in with a loud roar. He prefers to whisper. He does not always break down the door. He simply lifts the latch when no one is watching. He does not knock you down all at once. He slows you step by step, throwing your breath off rhythm little by little, until one day you realize you are standing farther from me than you ever thought possible. And when you are far from me, you become vulnerable to things that should never have had the power to shake you. I show you this not to accuse you, but to stir you awake. I am awakening spiritual eyes that have grown dim beneath the dust of weary days. I am touching your ears so my calling becomes clear again, so you can discern what is my voice and what is not from me. I want your heart to be soft and alert, not because you should live in fear, but because you must recognize your worth in the protection I placed around you before anything ever began. You are the temple of my spirit, a holy place that must never become a playground for distorted voices. I have placed you in the battle not to collapse, but to stand firm like a lamp that refuses to go out in the deepest night. I am jealous for you, not with selfishness, but with holy love, because I know that nothing besides me can keep your soul whole. When you allow worthless things to slip into your mind, you open the door with your own hands for the enemy to sneak in. And I will not stand by silently while he steals the strength, purity, and peace I have placed within you. So I speak to you now with the voice of a loving but resolute father. It is time to be decisive. You must loosen the invisible bindings. You must tear down destructive thoughts. You must sweep out the noise that has crept into your mind. You must turn off what has been pulling you away from me, little by little. But do not be afraid. When I call you to remove something, I have already prepared something better. When I ask you to let go of a toxic voice, I open before you my life-giving word. When I tell you to lay aside a habit that has worn your soul thin, I pour into you a peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. You do not have to do this in your own strength. I never command you and then step back to watch you struggle. I walk with you. I restore every room in your mind. I bring light into every dark corner of your soul. I drive back the words that wounded your heart. I wash away what has clung to you for so long, leaving you tired without even knowing why. All you need to do is open your heart and allow me to work. The rest, I will handle with a gentleness only I possess. And when you begin to cleanse your heart, when you close your eyes to the noise of the world and open your spiritual eyes to look toward me, you will begin to see what once felt so far away, peace. Not peace because everything is easy, peace in the middle of upheaval. Not peace because there is no enemy. Peace because I show you that he cannot touch you when you are resting in me. When your heart returns to its rightful place, where I am the center, everything around you will begin to return to its proper order. What once sent you into panic will become small. What once made you uneasy will lose its power. What once tried to crush you will become a stepping stone that lifts you higher. Let me rekindle your spiritual sight, so you no longer look at the world through fear, but through the awareness that I go before you in every battle. Let your ears no longer listen through anxiety, but through clear discernment, able to recognize my voice and reject deception. Let your mind no longer be swallowed by useless whirlpools of thought, but guided by wisdom from heaven. And as you walk this path, you will not only be protected, you will become an instrument of protection for many others. The light within you will illuminate their way. Your words will sow hope. The wounds you once carried, now healed by my hand, will become proof that I truly am with you. Child of mine, rise from the dark corners where you have been sitting for too long. Do not let whispers of doubt drag you back to the place I already rescued you from. Do not allow the harsh words of people to define your value. Do not let roots of bitterness sink deep, for they will bind your soul. Let me cut them away with my gentle hands. You are mine, and I will not allow any darkness to claim ownership over you. Step into the light I have laid before you. Stand in the truth I speak over you. Let me restore what is cracked, gather what is scattered, and breathe life into the parts of you that you thought had died. Today is the day I shake your soul awake so you will realize you were never meant to fight alone. Today is the day I call you back to watchfulness, so you no longer fall into the trap of things that seem small yet are strong enough to drain you. Today is the day I lift your eyes higher, so you can see that I am still governing all things, even when your life looks like chaos. Today is the day I remind you that my jealousy over you is not a burden, but a shield of protection. Today is the day I declare again, you belong to me, and no enemy can change that. Do you remember Joseph's story? He was a young man sold by his brothers, falsely accused and thrown into prison. His life seemed to be nothing but a series of blows too painful to recover from. Yet those very wounds became the foundation on which I placed him in a position to rescue an entire nation. When his brothers came to him in the middle of famine, Joseph did not pour out vengeance. He looked at them and understood that I had used his wounded years to preserve life for others. Do you see? Suffering did not crush him. It made him a vessel of deliverance. And so it will be with you. The places where you once wept, I will turn into places where you speak words that uphold weary souls. Not with lofty philosophy, but with wounds I have healed. I want you to know that your words carry spiritual weight you have never fully understood. When you complain, weariness spreads like gray smoke. But when you speak faith, even one small sentence can shift the atmosphere around you. You may not realize it, but every word you speak sows a seed. It either lifts people up or weighs their hearts down. Now that I have been reshaping you from within, I want you to become someone who sows hope into others. A prayer of intercession, a word of encouragement, a gentle hand placed on someone's shoulder. Sometimes that is what pushes back an entire stronghold of despair inside a person's soul. Your transformation will not only be seen with the eyes, it will be felt in the peace that flows from the very words you speak. My beloved, I have placed weary souls around you, not so you can carry their burdens in your own strength, but so you can become a trumpet that awakens and a bridge that leads them back to me. Not through grand gestures, but through daily faithfulness. When you pray for your loved ones, your family, and those you cherish, you are not merely speaking with me, you are raising a spiritual wall around them. When you warn gently, when you share about me, when you stand beside someone who is weak, you are activating a spiritual work far stronger than you think. You are sowing deliverance, and through it, you yourself are being protected. I do not want you only to survive. I want you to become an instrument that carries life. And as you continue walking, you will begin to understand that everything I have done in your life, the silent battles, the restoration, the steps that led you back to me, does not end with your safety alone. It leads you into a deeper place. The place of one who is called, one who carries light, one who knows how to stand in the battle not only for yourself, but for those I have entrusted to you. No loud trumpet is needed, no fame is required, only a heart that remains soft before me and open toward others. When you live this way, you become part of my current of salvation, quiet, yet full of power. Each day you open your mouth to intercede, each time you stretch out your hands to uphold someone else, I will stand behind you. I will complete what you cannot complete, so that everything blossoms according to my will. My child, let me speak to you more deeply and more clearly, like a father taking hold of your shoulders and looking straight into your soul. You are not insignificant in this vast world. You are the inheritance I have chosen. You are the one upon whom I have set my name, the vessel I guard with holy jealousy. There is no movement in your life that escapes my gaze, because you are where I dwell, a living temple into which I have breathed my spirit. So when pressure closes in, when harsh words are aimed at you, when tangled crossroads leave you confused, understand this: none of it is accidental. These are arrows the enemy shoots deliberately to throw you off balance, to make your soul spin around what is visible instead of lifting its eyes to where I am waiting. He does not want you to look up, because he knows that the moment you look to me, the moment you cry out to me, everything he has built will collapse like ash beneath your feet. But today, I am drawing your gaze away from the storms before you. I am setting your eyes higher, deeper, and truer toward the place where your help has never once arrived late. I am the one who stood in the furnace with the 3 young men. I am the one who shut the mouths of the lions before Daniel. I am the one who made the walls of Jericho tremble beneath the footsteps of faith. I am the one who broke Paul's chains in the darkness of a prison night. I am the one before whom every battle surrenders before it can even fully form. Yet for you to step into that flow of strength, you must return to me. Reorder your heart, realign your spirit, so it does not drift from the truth I have placed within you. You have passed through many seasons and many experiences. I know there were times when you opened your heart to too many things that did not belong to me. You looked at what did not strengthen your soul. You listened to voices mixed with the noise of the world and mistook them for wisdom. You held on to small but stubborn thoughts, quiet yet toxic emotions, and doubts that seemed harmless at first. But slowly, they ate away at each layer of your spiritual armor. You thought you were only watching a little, listening for fun, thinking about it for just a moment. But the enemy understands how to sow. He does not need a storm, he only needs a seed. A little doubt to make you hesitate. A little bitterness to draw you out of peace. A little distraction to loosen your prayer. A small sin you believe you can control. Then, little by little, those things weave into a cord around your soul, pulling you away from the source of life before you even realize how far you have drifted. He rarely charges in with a loud roar. He prefers to whisper. He does not always break down the door. He simply lifts the latch. He does not strike you down all at once. He slows you step by step, disrupts your rhythm breath by breath, until one day you realize you have been standing farther from me than you ever thought. And when you are far from me, you become vulnerable to things that should never have had the power to shake you. I say this not to condemn you, but to stir you awake. I am awakening the spiritual eyes that have grown dim beneath the dust of weary days. I am touching your ears so my calling becomes clear again, so you can recognize which voice is mine and which one does not belong to me. I want your heart to be tender and alert, not so you live in fear, but so you recognize your worth and understand the protection I built around you before anything began. You are the temple of my spirit, a sacred place that must never become a playground for deceptive voices. I have placed you in the battle not to collapse, but to stand like a lamp that refuses to go out in the deepest night. I am jealous for you not out of selfishness, but because I know nothing besides me can keep your soul whole. When you allow worthless things to slip into your mind, you open the door with your own hands for the enemy to creep in. And I will not stand by while he steals the strength, purity, and peace I have placed within you. Therefore, I speak to you with the voice of a loving yet resolute father. It is time for you to be decisive. Tear off the invisible bindings. Smash the destructive thoughts. Sweep out the noise that has slipped into your mind. Turn off the things that are pulling you away from me little by little. But do not be afraid. When I call you to remove something, I have already prepared something better for you. When I ask you to release a toxic voice, I open to you, my words full of life. When I tell you to lay down a habit that drains your soul, I pour into you a peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. You were never meant to carry this in your own strength. I do not give a command and then step back to watch you struggle. I walk with you. I restore every room in your mind. I bring light into every dark corner of your soul. I silence the words that wounded your heart. I wash away what has clung to you for so long, the things that have made you tired, without even knowing why. All you need to do is open your heart to me. I will take care of the rest with a tenderness only I can give. And when you begin to cleanse your heart, when you close your eyes to the noise of life and open your spiritual eyes to look at me, you will begin to see what once felt impossible to reach. Peace. Not peace because everything is easy, but peace in the middle of the storm. Not peace because there is no enemy, but peace because I show you that he cannot touch you when you hide yourself in me. When your heart returns to its rightful place, with me at the center, everything around you will begin to return to its proper order. What once terrified you will become small. What once unsettled you will lose its power. What once tried to knock you down will become the very stepping stone that lifts you higher. Let me relight your spiritual eyes, so you no longer see the world through fear, but through the certainty that I go before you in every battle. Let your ears no longer listen through anxiety, but through clear discernment, able to recognize the difference between my voice and deception. Let your mind no longer drown in useless spirals, but be guided by the wisdom that comes from heaven. And as you walk this path, you will not only be protected, you will become an instrument of protection for many others. The light within you will brighten their way. Your words will sow hope. The wounds you once carried, now healed by my hand, will become living evidence that I truly am with you. My child, rise from the dark corners where you have sat for too long. Do not let whispers of doubt pull you back to the place I rescued you from. Do not allow the harsh words of people to define your worth. Do not let bitter roots grow deep, for they will bind your soul. Let me cut them away with my gentle hands. You are mine, and I will not allow any darkness to claim ownership over you. Step into the light I have spread before you. Stand in the truth I speak over you. Let me restore what is cracked, gather what is scattered, and breathe life into the parts of you that you thought had died. Today is the day I stir your soul, so you will recognize that you were never meant to fight alone. Today is the day I call you back to wakefulness, so you no longer fall into small traps that seem harmless but leave you exhausted. Today is the day I lift your eyes higher, so you can see that I am still governing all things, even when your life appears chaotic. Today is the day I remind you that my jealousy for you is not a burden but a shield of protection. Today I say this over you. You belong to me, and no enemy can change that. When you open your mouth to speak about what I have done in your life, you are not merely sharing a story. You are opening a spiritual doorway. When you send a message, when you let a verse of scripture touch someone in despair, when you remind someone that hope is still alive, heaven does not remain still. You sow the word and I move. You only need to sound a brief trumpet of awakening, and I will release power from on high to shield the one you are lifting up. You may not see it with natural eyes, but every time you knock on someone's door through prayer, I assign angels to stand watch at the door of your own home. When you whisper, Amen, heaven's response is never a whisper. It comes like fire, dissolving unseen attacks. It comes like new breath, reviving the places that seem dead inside the one you are interceding for. You may not realize it, but the spiritual realm trembles when you step into the position I have entrusted to you. You must understand that your life carries value far beyond what you imagine. Every moment you walk with me is never wasted. No time is stolen when you place it in my hands. No future is shattered when I am its keeper. No dream is buried when I am the one who breathes life into what appears to have decayed. I know there were times you feared your youth was passing in vain. You wondered whether the years you served had gone unnoticed, whether the tears you shed at night had been misunderstood, whether your efforts would disappear into the current of life. But I see it all. I record it all. I protect every piece of your life you thought had been taken from you. No one can touch what I have appointed for you. And if the enemy has ever tried, it will learn that its attacks only cause me to rise even more powerfully in your defense. Even your health is covered by me, the fatigue, the unexplained aches, the anxieties that weigh heavily on your heart. They will not destroy you when you place them in my hands. I do not want you living in fear, wondering whether your body will be strong enough to enter the new season. I upheld you when you were weak, and I will replenish you when you are weary. I will restore the places you thought had lost their strength. I do not merely heal wounds. I renew the very source of strength within you. Remember this. What belongs to me, the enemy cannot destroy, and you belong to me. Do you know what that means? In all things, the enemy never has the final word. Even if it tries to sow doubt, even if it wears you down, even if it breathes lies into your heart, it cannot end the story I am writing over your life. The final word always belongs to me, the one who called you before you entered your mother's womb, the one who guarded you when you thought you were alone, the one who made a way even when there seemed to be no path ahead. My word to you today is not temporary comfort. It is a spiritual decree with the power to reshape the future of your life. Rise and shine, for my light has touched you, and my glory is breaking over your life like dawn shattering the morning mist. You are not only saved, you are sent. You are not only supported, you are empowered. You are not only protected, you are called to lead others into the light. And when you walk with that awareness, when you understand that the life I give you is not merely meant to help you survive, but to overflow through you, you will begin to see that every step you take carries purpose. You will see light pouring through your words, through simple acts of kindness, through quiet intercession. You will see change in your family, in those you love, and even in those who once seemed beyond return. You will become a stream that never stops flowing, bringing healing to cracked and barren ground. You will become a bell in the night, awakening souls that have fallen asleep. You will become a lamp set on a hill, not to perform, but to guide. And I, as your Father, will stand with you in every step, every word, and every breath. Take heart, for this battle does not end in darkness. It ends in glory, and you are part of that glorious plan. You only need to keep standing, keep believing, and keep shining. I will do the rest. My child, let me speak to you with all the longing in my heart. The road you have just walked through unseen battles, through spiritually worn-down days, through the moment you began to recognize my hand lifting you up does not end here. A new journey is opening before you. A depth you have never entered is waiting for you. Now I want you to know this. My call is not only meant to comfort you, it is meant to awaken you, empower you, and ignite within you a mission I placed there before you ever existed. Now that your soul has learned the difference between darkness and light, now that you have tasted both dryness and restoration, you have become fertile ground for me to plant a spiritual calling greater than your own life. Not because you are better than others, not because you are stronger, but because you have allowed me to touch the deepest places and the most painful wounds. That tenderness has made you someone who can uphold others with living truth, the kind of truth many still fear to face. Do you know what I treasure most in you? It is your willingness, even if it feels small, to let me use your wounds as a lamp to light the way for souls stumbling in the dark, souls walking through what you have just escaped. I want you to understand that none of the pain you have endured will vanish in vain. I keep it like stones that will one day become a bridge for others to cross. There are people around you who are exhausted, barely breathing, and losing strength in battles no one sees. They carry forced smiles, just as you once did. They hide confusion behind busy work. They live in a state of just a little longer, even though their spirits have wanted to collapse for a long time. The day will come when I bring them near you, because you have walked through what they are walking through, and only one who has reached the bottom knows how to take another's hand without hurting them further. I will use the healing in you like oil poured over their wounds before new skin has even formed. I will use the new strength I have placed within you to shatter the lies that are drowning them. You will not teach them with theory. You will lift them with living proof, with breath, with story, and with the gentleness I taught you when you were at your weakest. Beloved, I have placed upon your mouth the power of declaration. Not power for display, but power to break the whispers of despair that surround others. A word you speak while standing in me can drive back an entire dark cloud pressing down on a soul. A prayer of intercession from you, even as small as a candle flame, is enough to make darkness hesitate. You cannot see it with your natural eyes, but I see every spiritual movement that happens each time you speak. When you release encouragement, heaven takes notice. When you pray for someone, my angels are dispatched according to that word. You are the outstretched arm of a kingdom that cannot be measured by feelings. I am entrusting you with what only those who have been broken and then renewed by me can carry with enough humility and mercy to deliver it rightly. You will become a trumpet of awakening, not through shouting, but through peace. You will become a bridge of rescue, not by your own strength, but by my presence flowing through you like water, gentle, yet mighty. Your loved ones, your family, and those you cherish are also standing in a battlefield they do not know how to name. Every prayer you pray for them is not lost. It stands like an invisible barrier between them and the spiritual arrows seeking to pierce through. You do not have to say much to them. You do not have to convince anyone to understand you. Simply stand firm, stand in the place where I have set you, and I will let the light within you do what words cannot. There are battles where it only takes one person in a family surrendering to me for me to open a way for the entire household. There are words I am preparing to speak to them, but I will speak through you, through your gentle voice, through your small actions, through your kindness when they are fragile. You are not only saved, you are being entrusted. I want you to recognize that where you go will no longer be random. I will lead you into conversations you think are merely coincidental, but they will actually be assignments. I will allow you to hear the sighs no one else hears, so you can sense the spiritual pain behind them and know how to intercede. I will give you light to discern the hidden attacks striking others, and I will use you as a shield, so others do not fall before they learn how to return. You will begin to notice what others overlook: a tired glance, a careless remark, a small change in behavior that is really a cry for help. You will see because I have opened your spiritual eyes. You will feel because I have touched your heart, and when you speak, you will not speak from your own wisdom, but from my whisper flowing through your soul. Then, almost without realizing it, you will find yourself growing into this calling, like a seed sprouting beneath the soil, quiet, hidden, unseen, yet one day rising with strength. Your words will change, your actions will deepen, your patience will widen, your mercy will grow stronger. not because you forced yourself to become better, but because I am doing the inner work within you. Little by little, in ways you may not yet perceive, you will become a refuge for souls knocked down by the winds of life. You will become a voice that turns them back toward the light. You will become a gentle reminder that they still have worth, they are still loved, and there is still a way out. I will use you as part of a rescue plan heaven prepared long ago. And you will no longer live only for yourself. You will live with purpose, with weight, with a spiritual imprint no one can erase. Beloved child, if deep within you, you sense that these words are going straight from me to your heart, then respond with a small but deeply spiritual act. Press like on this video as a sign that you are opening your heart and saying to me, I receive this. Lord, I hear you, and I agree with what you are doing in my life. Leave your name in the comments. Not so I may count people, but so I may see each name fully. I am looking at every face. I am laying my hand upon every heart. I am setting apart those I have chosen to enter a new season. A season of rescue, healing, and the unveiling of power that will no longer remain hidden. And my child, subscribe to this channel as an act of sealing, as if you were signing a covenant with me and saying, I want to walk with you. I want to hear your voice every day. I do not want to lose the wakefulness you have just rekindled in me. I want to were in the Loden. This is not entertainment. This is a spiritual doorway, a place I use to speak, correct, uphold, and guide those who truly seek me. Now be still for a moment. Do not rush into anything else. Place your hand over your heart and feel the gentlest stirring, like a breeze passing through, like my breath touching the hidden corners you have kept tucked away for so long. This is not imagination. It is me confirming to your soul that something has been activated. Heaven's covering is resting upon you. The unseen battles that have disturbed you are being cut off. Your spirit has just awakened one layer deeper. And from this moment on, your life will not return to what it was before. Not because everything around you changes instantly, but because you have changed. And when your heart changes, the journey ahead is rewritten by me with light, with safety, and with strength you never knew you carried. You have been awakened. You have been set apart, and I will lead you. Keep walking. I am here. You are not alone. My child, I see you walking through long, crowded days while your soul slowly shrinks back in silence. Not because it is at peace, but because it is weary. I see clearly that the song of praise that once burned brightly within you now feels like a distant echo. Not because you no longer love me, but because the flame in your heart is flickering in the chaotic winds of life. I see you begin each new day with hurried feet, your mind filled with work and responsibilities, until the simple gratitude that once warmed you has been pushed to the bottom of a list labeled later. You are present in so many conversations, so many meetings, so many plans. Yet slowly, you are becoming absent from the deepest place within you, the place where I have always waited for you to return. And that absence is what concerns me most. When your soul drifts far from the source of life, it does not wither all at once. It weakens quietly, like a stream slowed by small stones until its flow becomes too thin to carry you through the unseen spiritual storms rising around you. Beloved, I know you did not mean to move away from me. This distance was not created in a day, a week, or even a month. It was formed in small moments when you were tired and did not pray, when you were busy and did not worship, when you were rushed and did not speak with me. You told yourself, tomorrow I'll pray more deeply, or I'm too busy today. I'll read your word later. And all those later moments began to pile up, becoming a quiet distance wide enough for your soul to cool down without you noticing. You thought you were fine because work still moved forward, responsibilities were still carried, your actions still appeared steady. But I know that fine has only been a covering over a heart that is exhausted. The danger is not that you are weak, because I can lift you up. The danger is that you do not realize you are weak, and you keep walking unaware into a battlefield without carrying your weapons. Spiritual warfare does not wait until you are ready. It only waits for a crack in your soul to slip through. But my precious one, I did not call you today to place another burden upon you. I do not come as a judge taking record of your failures. I come as a father who sees his child scraped and bruised, then bends down to bandage the wounds. You have lost your rhythm, but you have never been removed from the map of my love. You have not lost your place in my heart, and you have never lost your right to begin again. I do not keep score of your perfection. I notice every time you turn back to me, even if you return with trembling feet and a heart still full of turmoil. For I am the one who makes new what you thought was old, who brings back to life what you believed had gone out, who raises what you assumed was lost forever. You must understand this. Even when your soul is weak, I do not see it as failure. I see it as a call for me to draw nearer to you. Your weakness does not push me away. It makes me open my arms wider. Like a father watching his little child wobble while learning to walk, I do not scold you when you fall. I bend down, lift you up, brush off the dust, and steady your steps so you can walk a little farther. That is what I am doing for you. I do not expect you to stand strong at all times. What I long for is that you learn to run to me whenever your feet begin to falter. Because if you do not return, you will keep pressing forward in your own strength. And your own strength was never meant to withstand the unseen blows you cannot even see coming. Remember this. Restoration does not begin with appearances, emotions, or achievements. It begins when you stop, when you slow down, when you look within and admit that you are tired. Only then can I begin to heal the deepest places of your soul. I never wanted you to live like a warrior who does not know how to pause for breath. I created day and night, rainy seasons and sunny seasons, to remind you that even nature does not carry strength endlessly without passing through rest. So why do you believe you must do everything alone? Why do you think you are never allowed to stop, never allowed to be weak? I gave you breath, and I also gave you the right to rest in my arms. No matter where you are, no matter how far you feel you have drifted from me, you can begin again in this very moment. You do not have to wait until your heart burns with passion again before you come to me. All you need is a whisper, "Father, I'm coming back," and I will immediately move toward you, like the father who ran to embrace the prodigal son while he was still far away. I have never loved you less. Even when you prayed less, I never forgot your voice. Even when you forgot to call my name, I remained near. You can realign your path, and I will walk beside you again, just as I did in the beginning. You keep thinking that returning to me requires powerful emotions like the ones you had in the early days of faith. But beloved, sometimes returning does not come with overflowing feelings. Sometimes it begins with a slow step, a deep breath, and a quiet but honest decision. I do not rebuild you in haste. I heal you with patience. My love does not rise and fall with your emotions. It remains like a lighthouse that never goes out, waiting for you to look up. The spiritual battle around you is still there. But when you step back under the shadow of my wings, you will not have to fight alone. You will receive peace the world cannot understand, strength that does not come from striving, and discernment to recognize what is my voice and what is leading you astray. You will see that what once exhausted you no longer has the power to weigh you down. What once frightened you will no longer make you tremble. For when you are in me, no attack can reach your soul without my knowing. You have never gone too far to return. You have never fallen too deep for me to lift you up. You have never been lost too long for me to find you. The only moment I am waiting for is the moment you open your heart, so I can rekindle the flame you thought had died and set you back on your feet in the storm like a warrior strengthened by the very breath of your Father. And when you feel life returning, when your breathing becomes lighter, when your heart grows warm again, when your steps no longer feel as heavy as before, you will understand that I never called you to accuse you. I called you because I want to see you strong in my love, steady in the face of the unseen battle unfolding every day. You still have the right to begin again. You still have the right to rise. You still have the right to step into the new season I have prepared for you with faith and clarity. For you are my child, and that will never change. No matter how many headwinds your soul must pass through. My child, before I speak what comes next, I want you to take a deep breath. These words are not meant to condemn you. They are meant to touch the deepest place you have not dared to face. I ask you these things not to corner you, but to pull you out of the spiral of exhaustion you have endured for far too long. How much longer will you keep trying to manage everything on your own? How much longer will you fight in silence, bracing yourself against the rising waves of emotion within you, without giving me even a small space to step in? How much longer will you live as though you must carry the entire spiritual battle on your fragile shoulders? A battle that even the mighty ones who came before you could not win without leaning on me. Do you know that every time you choose to endure alone, you step away from the source of strength prepared for you before you took your very first breath? Every sleepless night, every tear you swallowed, every looping thought that made your heart feel heavy as stone, all of it has been a sign I have allowed you to notice. A reminder that your own strength is not enough. A reminder that you are reaching your limit. A reminder that I want to carry you through the stretch of road you can no longer walk by yourself. You still think I am far away. But the truth is, I am so near that even your faintest whisper can stir heaven. When your soul breaks, I do not stand at a distance and watch. I bend down. I place my hand upon every wound you have tried to hide from the world. I am not afraid of the shadowed corners you fear, to face the rooms within your spirit you have kept locked for years, terrified that if you opened them, even you would not survive the truth. But I do not fear the dark. I am the light. And light always enters wherever it is invited. You quietly hide your pain from others because you fear they will not understand. You fear they will belittle it. But I know every trembling beat of your heart. I know every unseen scratch upon your spirit that no words can fully describe. I see where the enemy has set traps for you. I see the small openings it has made in your emotions, the depths it exploits when you fall into silence. I know exactly how it strikes through the memories you try to forget, through the careless words someone once left behind, and through the nameless fears you thought you had already overcome. It does not always attack with a storm all at once. Sometimes it slips in quietly on the nights you are tired, in the moments when your guard is down. When your mind drifts without an anchor, it watches how you respond each time you are disappointed, each time you are wounded, each time your heart grows weak. It knows what makes you sway. It knows what steals your joy. It knows what causes you to doubt yourself. But what it could never foresee is this. Today, I am stepping into that inner sanctuary with liberating power, not always with a majestic roar, but with a presence strong enough to shake the fortresses that have bound you for far too long. I do not come only to comfort you. I come to break the invisible bonds you unknowingly formed in moments of vulnerability. The words you spoke in despair, the thoughts you nurtured in secret, the feelings you claimed as your own, though they were never truly yours. These things became cords. They became arrows lodged deep within your soul, throwing you into turmoil. The enemy wants you to believe this is simply who you are. But no. None of it ever belonged to you. They were burdens pressed into your heart through the years you wandered far from me. But now, as you listen to my voice, those burdens are falling away. In the realm of the Spirit, heaven is stirring. Angels are being sent forth, carrying the peace you have lacked for so long. The breath of my Holy Spirit is moving through the place where you live, through your mind, through the unrest you have never been able to set in order. A cleansing is taking place. A renewal is beginning to form. A preparation is unfolding that your eyes cannot yet see, but your soul can feel with unmistakable clarity. Let me make this unmistakably clear. You are not alone. You have not been abandoned in this battle. What is happening within your spirit right now is not chaos. It is rebuilding. When I come, I do not merely patch what is torn. I restore the very foundation you lost in seasons when you were too weary to hold yourself together. You are being awakened from a numbness you did not even realize was pressing upon you. You are beginning to see where the true battle lies, not in the outward upheavals, but in the hidden exhaustion within. You have stepped into your true place, the place of one who knows they need support. But beloved, I need you to stand firm. I need you not to return to the old habits that once made you vulnerable. I need you not to reopen the doors I have already closed for you. I need you to boldly say, enough, to the things that have quietly drained your soul without you even realizing it. There is still one more thing I want you to understand deeply. When my light pours in, darkness does not simply flee, it screams, it resists. It tries to cling to the places it once occupied. You may see old thoughts trying to return. You may feel resistance rising in your emotions. You may notice fears attempting one final ascent. Do not be afraid. This is not a sign that you are failing. It is proof that the chains are breaking. You have entered a passage of transfer, where what is not mine is being driven. I am gathering the scattered fragments of your soul and forging them into a new whole, stronger, lighter, and brighter than before. Do not think the steadfastness I ask of you is beyond your reach. In my eyes, steadfastness is not never trembling. It is trembling and still choosing to cling to me. Steadfastness is not never being weak. It is being weak and still praying, Lord, hold me. Steadfastness is not never wavering. It is wavering, yet falling toward me instead of back into the old darkness. And as you stand firm in this way, you will realize that my presence surrounds you like an unreachable fortress. You will see that peace does not come from circumstances, but from a protection that surpasses understanding. You will see that strength does not come from striving, but from letting me fight for you. My child, what I am doing today is not a temporary repair. I am changing the very structure of your spiritual life. I am uprooting the thoughts that once made you shrink back. I am silencing the voices that made you doubt. I am erasing the marks the enemy left during seasons when you did not even know you were wounded. Every movement in your spirit right now is evidence that I am placing you into something better than what you have just walked out of. Because of that, I need you to keep standing firm, not by your own strength, but by the surrender you have courageously placed into my hands. You have come this far. Do not turn back again. You have heard my voice. Do not let other voices distract you. You have begun stepping into the light. Do not grieve the old darkness that once made you feel safe. You have found your spiritual breath again, and you must not allow anything to choke it even one more time. I began this battle for you, and I will finish it for you. But I want you to keep walking, even if your steps are small. Every step you take is a declaration that darkness no longer has authority over you. And as you remain in the light, you will begin to see what I have been preparing for so long. A life not only saved, but used to rescue others. You only need to stand firm. Let me do the rest, my child. Let me speak to you with a breath that is gentle and deep, so your soul does not merely hear with the ears, but through the very wounds that once made you weary. You are still walking among countless invitations from the world, empty conversations that seem harmless, yet slowly gnaw at the life within you. There are words you heard and thought you had forgotten, but they remain in your mind like fine dust, accumulating until they make you heavy without knowing why. I see the evenings when you are too tired even to open your mouth and pray. I see the mornings when you wake with a worn-out spirit, though your body still moves through the day as usual. It is not that your faith is gone. It is that you are being pulled away from me by things so small you never thought they could harm you. And because they seem small, you dismiss them until little by little, your soul is drained by stories that do not build you, conversations that only muddy your mind, and scattered thoughts that keep you from hearing my voice clearly. The enemy does not always attack with a loud roar. Sometimes it chooses sounds as soft as a whisper. It does not need to tear down the walls. It only needs you to leave one small window open. Distraction is how it throws your heart out of rhythm with me. It wants you preoccupied with what does not nourish you, so your mind grows weary without knowing why. It wants you to sink into meaningless arguments, so you wear yourself down while thinking you are defending what is right. It wants you to feed bitterness, because bitterness does not only wound the people you think about, it poisons the deepest place within your soul. And what the enemy hates most is freedom in your mind, because when your mind belongs to me, it cannot imprison you with emotional chains. I tell you this not to make you afraid, but to awaken you to the truth. Your soul is not bound. You are not being manipulated. You are not a playground for darkness. You belong to me. And when I speak a word, no power has the right to deny it. I know what you have been going through. Do you think I have not seen? I see how you try to appear normal while inside you are breaking. I hear the sighs you keep trapped in your chest because you do not want anyone to worry. I feel the emptiness you cover with brief smiles and the words, "I'm fine," though even you do not believe them. You have tried to be a refuge for others, while sometimes you yourself only wanted a shoulder to lean on. You have carried every pressure, trying not to disappoint anyone, trying to be stronger than you truly felt. But did I create you to bear burdens by your own strength? Did I form you to run this race alone? I never told you to fight alone. I see every invisible cord tightening around you, and I want to loosen them. Only let me touch you. Beloved, I know you have thought that strength is what pleases me. But the strength I desire in you is not suppression. It is not false armor. It is not the kind of self-reliance that fights until collapse. I want strength that comes from surrender, the kind of surrender that lets you exhale gently, as though laying the weight down at my feet. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to strain to be acknowledged. You do not need to pretend you are fine in order to be loved. You are loved by me when you are weak. You are covered by me when you stagger. You are lifted by me when you fall. I want you to understand that surrender is not failure. It is the doorway for my power to work in your life. When you let go, I lift. When you stop, I move. When you admit that you need me, I have room to place my deliverance in the very center of your spirit. My child, let me care for your soul the way a father gathers a weary child into his arms when they finally come home after a long journey. I do not require you to set everything in order before you come to me. Simply return, and I will do the rest. Let me be the refuge you lean on, not fragile relationships, not conversations that leave you more exhausted, not the thoughts the enemy has sown. Let me be the wall that shelters you, the living water, the fire that restores what has grown cold within you. Come back to what is essential. Come back to the altar where you once met me with a simple heart, where you once spoke with me without fear of judgment, where you once prayed like a child who knew they were loved. Let that heart live again. I have heard every word you have spoken, whether through tears or in whispers too broken to become sentences. I have held every plea, even the ones that seemed shattered and weak. I have counted every tear you have shed. Not one has fallen in vain. Not one has been forgotten. I have written the story of your life with a care so precise you could hardly imagine. Every detail has its reason. Every season has its meaning. Every fracture has its place in the restoration I am working. Do you think the enemy can touch what I have written? Do you think it can undo what I have sealed? No, my child. It may roar, it may threaten, it may release its most subtle attacks, but all of it remains within a boundary, and that boundary is me. No power can pass through my hand to reach what belongs to me. I stand around you like an unbreakable fortress. I have filled the gaps you could not see. I have stopped arrows you had not yet recognized. I have set my spirit upon your life as an everlasting seal, and no one has the right to remove it. Yet, beloved, there is one thing only you can do. Surrender. Not outward surrender, not bowing your head in fear, but the surrender of a heart that knows I am the safest place to lay down everything it carries. Where there is surrender, there is power. Where there is trust, there are miracles. Where you lay down fear, I place my protection upon you. I want to go deeper in your life, but I will not force you. I wait for you to open the door. When you do, I will pour in like cool water in the wilderness, like light slipping through the night, like warmth covering a heart that has been cold for far too long. And when you truly surrender, you will see it clearly. Empty conversations will no longer entice you. Unfruitful arguments will naturally fade. Emotions that once tormented you will no longer rule you. A free soul is not bound by darkness. A mind that belongs to me is not led by chaos. A spirit that is awake is not subdued by insinuations. You will live like one who has been set free, not because you are strong, but because you are covered in my strength. My beloved child, be still for a moment, and let me speak to you in the whisper only a quiet heart can hear. There are people close to you who enter your life every day. Their words touch you, their emotions affect you. Yet many of them are tangled in wounds of their own. It is not that they mean to hurt you. It is not that they have become your enemies. It is that they carry deep emptiness within them, cracks that have not yet been healed, and without realizing it, they become channels for turmoil they do not even understand. A heart that has never been bandaged finds it difficult to offer gentleness. A soul filled with brokenness struggles to bring peace, and the enemy, crafty and patient, loves to slip into places where love is present. It loves to sow suspicion between those who should be holding one another up. It loves to stir arguments where peace should dwell. It knows that striking what you love will wound you more deeply than any harm from a stranger. It knows that a careless word or a distorted glance from someone you trust can be enough to discourage you and shake your faith. So it aims straight at those places, stirring small conflicts, thickening misunderstandings, and nudging your emotions just enough to create a distance that is not easily repaired. But my child, I will never leave you to walk in darkness without a lamp to guide you. I give you discernment so you can see beyond the surface of things. I place wisdom in your heart so you can understand that what you face is not always what it appears to be. I give you strategy so you are not swept into the tug-of-war of emotions, instinctive reactions, and bursts of anger. For you know this, your battle is not against flesh and blood. It is not against the people your eyes can see. Yet sometimes, in your most vulnerable moments, you forget this. You fight people instead of resisting the spiritual forces hiding behind them. You react to their words, their attitude, their expression, and you do not see the enemy sneering in the shadows because it has made you turn your weapon in the wrong direction. The more you plunge into arguments, The more you let emotions control you, the more distracted you become from the real battle, the battle of the soul, the battle for spiritual survival. So I want you to learn again something very important. Guard your thoughts. You cannot stop birds from flying over your head, but you can stop them from building a nest in your hair. In the same way, you cannot control everything others say or do, but you can choose what you allow to remain in your mind. Stand watch against thoughts that are not from me. Those thoughts will give birth to words, and words will shape the atmosphere around you. Every sentence you speak carries a spiritual breath, either the breath of life or the breath of weariness and chaos. When you let emotions rule you and speak from the heat of anger, you unknowingly release the power of death into the atmosphere. But when you choose to speak what you believe, even while your heart still trembles, you open the door for me to act. Words are not merely expressions of emotion. They are keys that open or close spiritual doors. Remember, the spiritual realm is always listening. I hear, angels hear, but the enemy hears as well. When it urges you to speak despair, it wants you to place in its hands the very hammer it will use to crush your hope. When you say, I can't take it anymore, darkness rejoices because it knows you have believed what it has been trying to plant within you. But when you stand in exhaustion, sorrow, and loneliness and still declare, God is with me and he will carry me through, you ignite a torch that makes darkness tremble. Heaven does not merely hear words of faith. Heaven moves when you speak them. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but your declaration tears through the heavy fog covering your soul. It raises the fence of protection again. It opens the way for my intervention. And what moves my heart most is when you speak what I speak, even when your circumstances seem to contradict it. When everything around you screams discord, you choose to speak peace. When sorrow demands that you accept defeat, you choose to confess hope. When emotion urges you to answer with anger, you choose silence and invite me into it. When tears rise because you feel misunderstood, you choose to hold on to my word instead of holding on to pain. You do not realize how powerful that is. My beloved, one small word placed rightly at the right moment can bring down an entire stronghold that Satan has labored for years to build. Many of my children fall not because the enemy is too strong, but because they allow the words of others to become stronger than my word within them. But I am calling you to a different position, the position of one who understands that the spiritual atmosphere shifts with their declarations. When you choose to speak life, life begins to spread. When you choose to speak what I have promised, the promise begins to take root. When you choose to speak spiritual truth, darkness has nowhere to hide. You are not merely resisting. You are reestablishing the environment of your soul. And the peace I place within you will become a shield, guarding you from every influence of others, whether accidental or intentional. You may not realize it, but your words also affect those who are watching you. When they see that you do not respond from emotion, when they witness your peace refusing to be dragged into the storm of feelings around you, they will know you are being kept by someone greater. You become a living testimony of a strength no one can manufacture through personal resolve. And in that very moment, I use you to rescue many souls turning within a storm, not knowing how to escape. You do not need to do anything grand. Simply by living in the truth I have taught you, you become one who carries light into the dark places of others. So do not fear conflicts that come from those close to you. Look beyond what your eyes can see. When you choose to stand on my word, when you choose to speak what I say, when you choose to guard your mind and heart from emotional storms, you will see every attack of the enemy grow weaker. It cannot endure the atmosphere of faith. It cannot exist in an environment of peace. It cannot advance when you refuse to use your words to strengthen it. And day by day, word by word, moment by moment, as you choose to place your trust in me, you become a warrior, not one who wields a sharp sword, but one who uses faith as a weapon. And you will see this clearly. Where you stand, my light will stand with you. Where you step, my life will spread. When you open your mouth, heaven will answer because you have understood the power of words and used it to break through confusion, heal relationships, and keep your soul steady in the invisible yet very real spiritual battle of every day. My child, I want you to sit down in stillness. Breathe deeply and let your heart open as though the whole sky were leaning down to whisper in your ear. Because what I am about to speak is not something to skim for amusement. It is living water seeking its way into the deepest place of your soul. Now that you have passed through layers of weariness, now that you have seen that every battle is not only fought in your circumstances but also within your spirit, I want you to step into a deeper realm, the realm of declaration, the realm of authority, the realm of words I long to plant within you. Lift your voice, not because I need to hear you, for I already know every beat of your heart, but so your whole soul may hear itself declare, I am standing in the middle of the battle, yet the shadow of your wings covers me. I can feel the pressure closing in, but I will not be crushed. Storms may rage over my head, but your voice is thundering through the lightning, and I no longer tremble. Let those words rise from your innermost being, not as a passing breath upon your lips, but as a declaration from the depths of your spirit. When you confess with courage, the spiritual atmosphere around you begins to shift. Darkness draws back. Light breaks through layer by layer. Doors that once seemed sealed begin to move under my power. Beloved, these words are not slogans meant to offer quick comfort. They are not a few positive phrases to soothe you for a moment. They are seeds of a new destiny. They are keys that open invisible doors. They are weapons unseen by the eye, yet mightier than anything the natural eye can behold. When you speak them in faith, I activate them in the depths of the Spirit. Truth is released, power is stirred, angels move at once according to the words you have spoken in alignment with my will. It is not an accident that you are hearing this. In the very moment you thought you had merely paused by chance, you did not stop because you felt like it. I drew you back. I held your steps. I rearranged what was already in motion and caused you to meet this moment as a holy appointment. If your spiritual eyes were opened, you would see that I placed within you a gentle urging, a slight tug, a nameless trembling that made you pay attention so you would not miss what could rescue you before everything became worse. This is not an ordinary video. It is not a random message. It is not content you watch out of passing curiosity. This is my call traveling through space, slipping into the quiet between the everyday burdens of your life. This is an urgent signal I sent before that dangerous door could close, before the enemy tightened the noose one more turn, before you let go because you had no strength left. I am pulling you away from the mouth of a pit you have not yet seen. I am turning the axis of your path before your feet step onto ground laced with traps. I am blocking the ending the enemy wanted to force upon you before you even realized it had been prowling around your life. You think you stumbled upon this, but heaven placed this message in your path. It is not luck. It is intervention. It is covering. It is the action of a father who cannot bear to watch his little child be attacked without armor. Receive this not with fleeting emotion, but with the awareness that heaven is touching earth the moment you open your heart. I am releasing a spiritual command into your life, a command of restoration, a command of protection, a command of turning, a command that forbids darkness from intruding. As you join yourself to this declaration, you step into a new covenant. Not a covenant of fear, but of standing firm. I do not want you merely to survive. I want you to overcome. I do not want you merely to keep going. I want you to walk with the bearing of one I have sealed. I do not want you merely to escape danger. I want you to become a warning bell for other souls being swallowed little by little without realizing it. Therefore, every word you speak will become a summons that sets heaven in motion. Every breath you lift in faith will become an arrow shot back into the darkness that has been stalking you. If you feel your heart beating faster, your breathing growing heavier, or your eyes filling with emotion for no clear reason, do not treat it as something ordinary. It is your soul recognizing a truth deeper than your mind can grasp. It is the Holy Spirit stirring sealed-off layers you have never opened. It is the sign that I am touching a place you thought was dead. Do not block that flow. Do not muffle that call. Do not stand up and brush it off as though it does not matter. My love is running toward you not only when you cry out, but even when you are silent. Not only when you are strong, but precisely when you shrink back because you have nothing left to hold yourself up. I come to save you before you fall, not to wait for you to fall and then lift you up. So if you sense this word is for you, if it feels true for you, if it strikes straight into the place you cannot speak about, answer me with action. Show your faith, even if it is only one small step. Say in your heart or with your lips, Lord, I am taking hold of your hand. When you write it down, when you tap like as a sign of faith, when you leave a simple line such as, I belong to you, it is not a meaningless gesture. It is spiritual resonance. It is an activation step that helps you enter the protection I have prepared. Your response itself becomes a declaration to the powers surrounding you that you do not stand alone. You have an owner. You have a refuge. You have a mighty name standing with you. And when you share this with someone, Whether or not you know what they are going through, that act becomes a spear of rescue released. It becomes a light piercing a dark place you never even knew existed. Every seed you sow from faith returns to your life as a shield. My child, believe this. When you obey, heaven moves. When you respond, I act. When you sow rescue, you step deeper into the embrace of my covering. You are not alone in this moment. I am standing before you, looking straight at you with the gaze of a father who has never stopped loving you. And I am saying, step into this protection, let me intervene, let me fight for you. Let me open a way you have never known. From the moment you confess, from the moment you step forward in faith, from the moment you stretch out your hands to me, the battle around you will change direction, not because you are stronger, but because you have joined yourself to the one stronger than every power. You are being brought into heaven's safe place, and every storm must retreat before the one who covers you. You have entered a new part of your story. Now, beloved, you have crossed into a realm of light the enemy cannot touch. And it all began with something as simple as answering this call. If you want me to keep leading you deeper, I will walk with you to the very end of the journey. All you must say is, I am ready. My child, before I speak anything more, I want you to know this. Every breath you release right now, every slow and heavy beat within your chest, I see it. I understand it. I am the one who searches the hidden thoughts. I know everything you dare not say to anyone. I hear even the prayers you have never been able to form into words. And though I know all the things you think are not enough, not worthy, not strong, I still choose to love you as I did in the beginning. I still call your name among a million other sounds. I still reach out once more to clothe you with my presence, like a father who lifts a fallen child, wipes away the dust, and gathers them close without accusation. For in this spiritual war, where invisible arrows fly through your inner world and the blows make no sound, yet make you want to quit, I know this with certainty. You have not reached the end. What I promised, what I planted in you from the earliest days, what I wrote into the timeline of your life, none of it has ended. You are still walking, and I am still fighting for you. I am the shield before you when you face what is beyond your strength. I am the one behind you when you turn away in exhaustion. I cover both sides, so you do not have to tremble in the fight, believing you are alone in a darkness with no escape. So, my child, pause for a moment right here. You do not need to do anything. Just be still. Be still like an evening when the wind stops blowing, like a lake when the ripples finally settle, like a heart when it realizes someone is drawing near with unconditional love. Let your whole soul quiet down just enough to feel what you often overlook. I am here, not as far as you imagine, not as silent as you assume, not as invisible as you have sometimes feared. The moment you release every burden, the moment you stop trying to appear strong, the moment you let your shoulders drop even a little, that is when my spirit begins to wrap around you like a warm cloak on a cold night. I am touching your soul with a gentleness you lost while running after too many things. I am speaking to you in the tone only the truly still can hear. My child, breathe. You are not alone. I stepped into the battle before you even realized you were under attack. These words are not only comfort, they are eternal truth, firmer than every feeling you carry in your heart. And now, as your spirit grows more sensitive to my breath, as your heart becomes a little quieter, a little lighter, even if nothing around you has changed, I want to open your eyes to see more deeply what is truly happening. There are two kinds of battles, the kind you can see, and the kind only your soul can feel. The battle visible to the naked eye, the difficult circumstances, the opposing people, the limits standing right in front of you is actually less dangerous than you think. When you can see it, you know what to pray about, what to confront, and what to avoid. But the second battle, the silent battle waged in the hidden corners of the soul, the battle without a name, without a blade, without a visible form, is the one that has exhausted you to the very edge. It comes through an emptiness you cannot explain, through days when you cannot cry, yet cannot feel joy either. It hides in the moments when you stand in a crowd and still feel alone. It lives in the nights when you turn off the light, close your eyes, and yet sleep refuses to come, leaving your heart suspended between wanting to let go and being afraid to do so. This is not weakness, this is not your failure. This is where the spiritual battle rages most fiercely from the inside out, from what no one can see into the outward actions you do not even understand in yourself. You have not imagined it, you have not made it bigger than it is. You are not as weak as you think. You are in a real battle, and that battle did not begin because you went the wrong way. It began precisely because you are walking the right way. The enemy is not afraid of those who sit still, who do not pray, who do not seek me. It trembles before people like you, those who, even when weary, still choose to trust me. Those who, even when nothing seems to change, still open their mouths to pray. Those who, even when everything feels silent, still choose to worship. It fears your perseverance. It despises your endurance. It trembles at the fact that you keep getting back up, even after being thrown down again and again. What others call small, I call treasure. And those very things are what make the darkness waver. I have seen it all. I have seen you in the morning, forcing yourself out of bed while your heart felt heavy as stone, yet still whispering, "Lord, I still choose to believe you." I have seen the moments when you refused something that looked appealing, because your soul knew it was not from me. I have seen you pray for others at night, even when you were not sure who was praying for you. I have seen your eyes lift toward heaven on your darkest days. Not one of these things has escaped my attention. You think I am silent, but in truth, I am recording every moment of your faithfulness like a father carefully keeping the first letters from his child. Nothing you do for me is forgotten. And my child, when I watch you take each step, sometimes slow, sometimes unsteady, I do not see a fragile child. I see a warrior being formed. I see a soul learning how to stand in the dark without losing the spark within. I see someone I am training to go deeper into faith, not merely to stand on the outside and observe. I see a heart that aches for what is right, grows weary for what is good, and sacrifices quietly when no one else notices. You may not see yourself changing, but I do. You may not think you are becoming stronger, but I know these invisible battles were never meant to destroy you. They are fortifying you from within. They are teaching you to recognize me not by sight, but by spirit. They are showing you that true strength does not come from what you strain to hold, but from what you finally surrender. Keep breathing. Keep quieting your heart a little more, because I am not finished speaking to you. What you have endured, the long nights, the doubts, the negative whispers, the attacks no one saw, has been shaping within you a stronger love and a deeper compassion for those who are fighting battles just like yours. I am preparing you not only to stand firm, but to become a shelter for the weak around you. You have learned how to fight alone, but soon you will learn how to awaken others who have fallen into spiritual sleep. You will learn how to place your hand on someone's shoulder and pass on the strength I have given you. You once thought you had nothing to offer, but my child, healed wounds carry a kind of fragrant oil that those who have never suffered cannot possess. I want you to see this as well. Every tear you have shed, every word that got caught in your throat, every time you chose me instead of sinking beneath your own heaviness, all of it is becoming a testimony far greater than you imagine. I am not healing you only so you can feel happy. I am healing you so that, through you, the hopeless may still have a chance to live. I am gradually shaping you into a trumpet that awakens those who have been sleeping through the battle. I am shaping you into one who stands in the gap, interceding for family, for loved ones, and for those I have placed in your life. You do not realize that every time you intercede, every whisper you lift toward heaven, every time you support someone who is collapsing from exhaustion, all of it forms a spiritual region of light that darkness cannot approach. So walk on with me, my child, not in fear, but with the certainty that I am very near. Not in the strain of self-effort, but in surrender that makes you lighter. Not in the anxiety of being defeated, but in the assurance that I have never left anyone to fight alone. You are drawing near to the season I have prepared. Nothing you have walked through has been meaningless. I am connecting every piece into a picture far larger than you can imagine. You keep walking, the rest I will complete. My child, do you understand that every breath you take, every thought you nurture, every action you carry out, no matter how small, carries a spiritual weight far beyond what the natural eye can see? Every gesture, every step, every word you speak is like a seed sown into this world, and those seeds are preparing to sprout at the time I appointed before the foundation of the earth. Nothing in you is accidental. No moment is pointless. Everything is being woven together into a wondrous tapestry that only I can fully see. Yet right as you are about to step into that season of blossoming, at the very moment you think you are only taking ordinary steps, a powerful shift is taking place in the unseen realm. The spiritual sky is changing. Doors I have kept closed for a long time are beginning to open. The waiting you could not put into words is preparing to become reality. You have not recognized it yet, but the enemy has felt it clearly, and because it senses it before you do, it is urgently accelerating its dark schemes, trying to stop the good things I have already stirred within your life. It knows the harvest is nearer than ever. It feels heaven's atmosphere trembling like water beneath a strange wind. It sees angels taking their positions like warriors standing ready for my command. It sees grace pouring into your life like a full river carving a path through the desert. It sees my plan forming with a clarity that cannot be reversed. That is why it tries to pull so hard at the weak places in your heart. It wants to drag you into a spiral of weariness so you lose direction, believe you are not enough, and start thinking a miracle will never come to you. It wants you to slow down before you realize you are standing at the threshold of breakthrough. Its goal is not only to make you sad or tired. It wants to create an inner crisis, a fracture in your spirit, so you let go right before the finish line. It knows it cannot touch what I have ordained for you. So it aims at you, at your perseverance, at your faith, at the heart that is trying to cling to me through exhaustion. It wants to strike the source within you, because it understands that if you lose faith, you will step back from the path of glory I have prepared without it ever having to push you. But beloved, do not be afraid. I see all of it before it can come near you. I do not merely know the enemy's plan, I actively stop it before it takes root. I am the one who watches every movement. I do not sleep. I do not grow weary. I am never indifferent to the waves that try to crash over you. When the enemy tried to raise a storm inside your heart, I rose before it. When darkness tried to slip through your thoughts and plant fear and doubt, I sent angels to surround you like a wall of fire. I released commands from my throne to protect you, not when you were strong, but at your weakest, because I know the moment you are approaching is too precious to be stolen. I do not allow any force to touch your soul without passing through me first. And no darkness is great enough to overcome the light I have placed around you. Do you know that before the enemy could plant a single negative thought within you, I had already spoken words like a flaming sword to nullify its intent? Those words are not sounds your ears can hear. They are invisible currents of power flowing around you, shattering every scheme aimed at your soul. I have released angels not in small groups, but an entire host appointed to guard your journey step by step, minute by minute, breath by breath. Not one who seeks to harm you can pass them. I have placed my mark upon your life, upon your home, and upon everything I have entrusted to your hands. I have marked you with my blood, the blood of redemption, protection, and the declaration that you belong to me, and no power has the right to touch you. Just as in ancient Egypt, when the doorposts were marked with the blood of the Lamb and every plague had to pass over, so today your life bears that sign, the sign every darkness must fear. And my child, not only do I keep you, I break every trap the enemy sets before you ever touch it. Some things you thought were coincidences were actually my divine redirections, turning you away from attacks aimed straight at your soul. Some people left your life, and you did not understand why, but I allowed them to go so you would not be wounded by what they carried. Some doors closed, and it grieved you, but I closed them so you would not step into danger. Some conversations suddenly ended. Some intentions were delayed. Some plans did not happen on time. You thought you had failed, but I was shielding you from what you could not see. I stand between you and every scheme trying to reach your life. And I do this not because you have earned it, but because you belong to me. Do not think my protection comes only when you pray a great deal. You are guarded even when exhaustion leaves you silent. Do not think you must prove your faithfulness before I rise for you. I rise even before you realize you are under attack. I do not wait for you to be perfect before I act. I act to keep you whole in a battle you do not yet fully understand. For in heaven and on earth there is no love stronger than my love for you, and no power greater than the word I have spoken to protect you. You see only a small part of what I am setting in motion. You see the present, but I have already seen the end. You see the test, but I see the glory. You see fear, but I see victory, and I have chosen to stand on your side. What I am building within you will not be hindered. What I have spoken will not be withdrawn. The words I place in your mouth will not return void. Even if the enemy tries to push you into weariness, tries to make you doubt your worth, tries to convince you that you have lost your way, one unshakable truth remains. I am fighting for you. You do not walk alone. You do not resist by your own strength. You are not abandoned in the night. And even if the enemy launches its final arrows, it still cannot touch what I have appointed for you. Be steadfast, for the moment you are living in now is the crossing point between testing and fulfillment, between darkness and dawn, between attack and the victory drawing near. What feels heavy today is not a sign of defeat. It is the sound of breakthrough approaching. Hold on to me little by little, breath by breath. I am covering you. I am keeping you. I am making a way before you. And when the moment I have appointed arrives, you will look back and understand that no tear was wasted, no weariness was meaningless, and no night was ever so long that I could not light it. My child, let me speak to you with words that are gentle, yet strong enough to pierce through the quiet fatigue you cannot put into language. I have guarded your life more than you have ever realized. There were events that came near the doorstep of your home, yet I stopped them before they could even touch your breath. There were arrows of darkness released from places you never expected, yet they shattered before they could reach even your clothing. There were evils that many generations in your family line once trembled before, but I dealt with them at the root. I refused to let them cling to you or repeat themselves in your life. I rendered powerless the words meant to bring you down. And those who wanted to see you collapse fell silent when they could not explain why you still stood. For you belong to me, and whoever lays a hand on you touches what I hold most carefully in the palm of my hand. But listen closely to my words, because there is something I want to tell you, not to frighten you, but to teach you how to preserve what I have placed within you. Though I have pushed back countless calamities, I still require watchfulness from you. My protection and your vigilance must walk together. You cannot freely open every door, keep every relationship, or lean on every habit without discernment. There are things you assume are harmless that can become pathways for hidden assaults. I do not want to see you fighting what should never have had the chance to touch your life. Therefore, there are doors you must close. Close them tightly, even if you have grown used to knocking on them every day. There are people you must learn to step away from, even when attachment makes you feel guilty. There are habits you must decisively lay down, even if they have been part of your life for many years. You may not fully understand why this is necessary, but I see what lies beneath the surface. I see what your eyes cannot yet see. Know this: darkness never arrives first as a roaring storm. It comes through a small crack, a small concession, a small moment when your guard is lowered. Spiritual attacks cannot gain ground without an opening. The enemy does not need to shove down a great door. It only needs you to forget the latch. It only needs you to let your guard slip through one long night. It only needs you to grow comfortable with compromise without even realizing it. You think you are fine, but I have seen your soul growing lighter in ways it should not. You think you are strong, but your strength is slowly being drained by small pleasures, small distractions, and small detours you keep telling yourself are harmless. You think you are standing firm, but the winds of this world do not strike your feet first. They strike your heart, your mind, and the places you protect the least. I know this, because I have seen the enemy use those small, unnoticed things to unsettle many of my children before they could step into the new season I had prepared for them. But beloved, no matter how subtle the enemy may be, if you remain in me, it cannot break through the hedge I have raised around you. When you choose to abide in me, not through fierce striving, but through wholehearted surrender, I will cover you with a protection no force can pierce. I will be the shield before you, the steadfast wall behind you, and the refuge of your soul amid sudden whirlwinds. Though the world may sway, though bad news may surround you, though certain things make others tremble, I can still keep you in peace as though you were standing outside the storm. And when the winds rise, I will not let your feet slip. I have set you upon a rock prepared long before you ever learned what fear was. Not because you are strong enough to balance yourself on raging waves, but because I keep you standing on a foundation that cannot be shaken. Remember this: many who look at you will not understand what you are walking through. They see your calm face, but they do not see the nights you wept quietly and told no one. They see you as strong, but they do not know there were moments when your heart felt so fragile that one more word might have shattered it. They see you as resilient, but they do not know how many times you wanted to let go and still chose to stand because you did not want to disappoint anyone. They do not see the silent battles in your mind, the struggles you do not know how to name, or the wounds you hide well because you fear that if anyone sees them, they will think you are weak. But my child, I see it all. I know what you have been through. I know what you have endured and how hard you have tried. I know there are comments, looks, and misunderstandings that have hurt you more deeply than you dare admit. And because of that, I want you to know this. True defense is not found in tensing yourself to appear strong. True defense is found in abiding in me and letting me become your fortress. I did not raise you to be alone in this battle. I raised you to be protected and to become someone who can carry that protection to trembling souls like the one you once were. You do not need to shout. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. The peace I place within you will be the clearest testimony. Your steadiness in the storm will cause others to marvel and seek me. The moments when I lift you up will become stories that pull others out of despair. You think you are merely surviving, but in truth, I am shaping you into a dwelling place through which my strength can flow. Therefore, stay watchful, so you do not create openings the enemy can exploit. I will be with you, but I want you to cooperate with me by honoring your soul. Do not throw it into things that weaken it. Choose what nourishes faith. Choose relationships that steady you. Choose thoughts that lead you into peace. When you learn to place yourself rightly, I will do the rest. I will keep you. I will make a way. I will heal you. I will turn the places that once wounded you into the very places where you grow stronger. And even if you do not say it aloud, I know there are things you only dare to whisper within yourself, fears you do not want to face, questions you have not yet dared to ask. You do not need to explain them to me. I understood before you ever thought to speak. My child, do not forget that you are not ordinary. You are the one I chose, the one I keep, the one I called by name from deep within darkness to step into the light. You bear my mark, an imprint of belonging that no power in heaven, on earth, or in the shadows can erase. I am not only protecting your body from danger, I am guarding your soul, sustaining your peace, and preparing you to step into a new season of glory you have not yet fully seen. But to enter it, you must stay alert. Be careful what you allow into your heart. Close the doors that no longer belong to you. Release what holds you in places I never intended for you to remain. Every choice is a step either toward light or toward darkness. And I am inviting you to walk with me, step by sure step, step by steady step, into a new life no longer threatened by small openings. Be bold enough to entrust to me the things you fear losing. I never take what is good from you. I only uproot what can harm you. And in its place, I give what is firm, what is pure, and what is filled with life. As you walk this way, you will see that your life no longer sways as it once did. You will see that the winds that used to exhaust you no longer have the strength to knock you down. You will see me doing something new in your life quietly, yet clearly, gently, yet profoundly. And in that moment you will understand that everything I have spoken to you today was never meant to frighten you. It was meant to prepare you to stand firm when the world shakes. Now, in this moment, open your heart so that every word rises not only from your lips, but from the deepest place in your soul. Bring before me your longings, your inner wrestlings, and the places you want me to touch and renew. Almighty God, I come before you with a heart stirred and awakened by your presence, powerful, yet gentle. Draw me out of every silent, dark place that has drained me, even the places I have not known how to name. Pour into me the living water that renews the soul. Take away the confusion, the depletion, and the loneliness that have followed me for far too long. Restore me from the deepest corners of my inner being, where I once withdrew out of fear or because I believed I was not worthy. Make my heart tender and sensitive to your voice, so that from this day forward, I will not walk by my own strength, but by the breath and power that come from heaven. Father, you have seen every tear I tried to hide. I come to you like a child seeking safe refuge. Wash away the remnants of fear, insecurity, and doubt that still cling to my soul. Lay your hand upon my mind and remove the lying voices that once convinced me I was alone and weak. Draw me closer to you, so my soul may lean on you like breath itself, and my faith will no longer be shaken by unseen attacks. Grant me discernment to recognize your ways and the courage to keep moving forward into the promise you are opening before me. Lord, you are the one who sees the weariness no one else sees, the emptiness I cannot explain, and the silence I am afraid to face. I ask you to heal the hidden wounds within me, the spiritual places worn down by distraction and by the enemy's quiet arrows. Rekindle the fire that has grown cold inside me, so I may long for you not out of duty, but because I know that only in you can I find true life. Make my faith steady, not wavering, not fragile. Lead me out of the old season as one who has been fully renewed. I rest myself in you, Lord, the one who never abandons me in the battle. Lord, I thank you for not leaving me in my weakest moments. I thank you that your tenderness has soothed the aching places in me, the places I thought were already dead. I thank you that every word you speak is like light breaking through the fog of weariness that once covered my soul. I am grateful that you have drawn me out of emptiness and set me in a place filled with hope. Every renewal within me belongs to you, and it is only by your grace that I am still standing today. God, I thank you for using even my wounds to build new strength in my life. I thank you that you see what no one else sees and heal what no one else can heal. I am grateful that you did not condemn me when I was tired, but brought me into your rest so my soul could be revived. I give thanks that I no longer live in uncertainty, but in the light and truth that come from you. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can continue building a strong community of faith.